Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Pocket Knockers. It is episode 007, or if you're anyone else in the world, it's 007. And as promised, Ed and I have a ruddy good treat for you today. We are joined by not Sean Connery, rest in peace, not Roger Moore, rest in peace, but Pierce Brosnan. Woo!
I think he is waiting at the moment.
Come on, let him in.
Okay, right. I'm shitting myself here, but yeah.
I still can't believe it.
I just said shit in front of. Right. Anyway, Pierce Brosnan, everybody.
Hello.
Woo! How is it? How is it, Pierce?
It's a lovely day here in Malibu. It's a pleasure.
Nice.
It's always a pleasure to be here with fans.
Yeah. And you had a forest fire recently, which took your house out.
Yes, that's never ideal. It wouldn't have happened back in Ireland because the rain would have put it out, of course.
Yeah, that's true.
Someone living out in Malibu, obviously, it's lovely and sunny, but everything always burns down.
Unfortunately, that is Florida in a nutshell.
No,
Florida,
California. Yes.
California in a nutshell. So, sorry, not living there, I wouldn't know.
It's the fucking loudest train in the world. Sorry, Pierce.
I love trains. Trains are great.
I'm so sorry. That's Alec Trevelyan just going
Yes,
past.
you have to watch him, those trains.
Oh, stick a sort of Xenia on the side. Right. Okay. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Pocket Knockers, and of course we are supported today by Pierce Brosnan and MGM Interactive sponsored. So, we are going to continue with our normal pursuit of trying to guess films and trying to sell them to each other. First round, if you are new to the podcast, welcome. Please do subscribe on YouTube. Go to pocketknockers.co.uk, where you will see a plethora of different mediums in which you could listen to our lovely podcast. And we start off with round one, in which we try and propose our film is the best one. And of course, it being Pierce Brosnan, we have some top-notch James Bond films to go through. In the second round, we will have, crap films. Unfortunately, there are some poor James Bond films, and we will be trying to say why it's the worst ones. Don't worry, Pierce, you're not in any of those.
Well,
I just want to interject. You know how I like interjecting you at the beginning. We're not just doing films. We've got films and aspects of the films.
Oh, yes, of course, yes. No, so we've got, like, for instance, we've got characters, we've got gadgets, we've got cars, we've got babes, and I don't think there are actually any babes, but we've got the movies themselves as well. So it's got to be a right little mix-up, and we're going to have a laugh and, get to know Pierce a little more. Second round is same, but shit. And we're just going to try and be saying why our thing, whatever it may be, is the worst. And the third round, Pierce has given us some of his movies, as in his favourite movies. Pierce, talk us through your list. So, not without mentioning, any of them. The wheel will decide, of course. But what were you thinking when you were going through your list?
I was thinking films I enjoy, films that show actors in unusual roles, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Some old films, some films are quite new. Things that mean something to me personally, both as an actor and as a private individual.
So, if that's not an insight into Pierce's life, I don't know what is. I mean, are any of these films, we should probably say most of this when it comes up to that round, I guess, but are they films that you wish that you had, gone, maybe auditioned for and got the parts for, or are you just happy watching them as they are?
Because they are. I never watched myself as Bond, because what would the point of that? So, it's nice to see how other people do their movies.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you. I get it. So let's roll on, shall we? Ed, what have you got to say?
Well, yeah, I was just wondering about. I would like to point out that James Bond. Yes, it is. Sorry, I'm mumbling because it's just bloody weird. Pierce Brosnan. No offense. It's just because I feel like I want to stop talking, but I will carry on. Your films, your Bond films are probably where I really started. I wasn't really bothered by Bond at that point, and GoldenEye came along. I started like retrospectively looking back. But also there are some brilliant films. I mean, yourself in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
Brilliant Brilliant
Thank
role.
you.
Do you know if I know they've planned a sequel until Williams' untimely death. I was just wondering if there's something that you had.
Tragedy.
I was wondering if there's anything that you had any involvement with there for the sequel.
No, but I was certainly very keen. It was a great role for me because I got to do comedy and I got to play a character that is pretty much a jerk and everyone hates. So that was pretty cool. So normally I'm leading man, so you do leading man roles. This is no, I get to do something fun, something unusual, and it was an absolute joy working with Robin Williams. It was just sheer pleasure to work with.
Yeah.
And there's one more as well that I don't know why I do remember it, and it's probably got one of the most distressing scenes I've seen in a film. I think it was like a PG-13 as well. I can't quite remember. Do you remember Dante's Peak?
Oh yes.
Do you remember your role in that one?
Yes, I was the volcanologist, I believe.
That was right, yes. And you were trying to tell everyone you need to get away, and people are like, oh. But then there was a bit when you had the family trying to rescue their nan.
Yes, bless them.
And then you're on the boat in the hot water, but the water was burning through, and then the nan jumped out of the boat and pushed away. That was awful. That was absolutely awful. I think she jumped out to save her dog. If I remember, the dog was left there, and she went back. Someone went back to go get the dog, and then
you can understand. You know, animals are important. I'm a big animal lover myself. So. Yes, and when animals are in danger, sometimes you don't quite think clearly. But always listen to your friendly neighbourhood volcanologist.
Yeah, always. I mean, maybe not so much in England. I don't think it's that much of a profession here, but
you never know. Times change.
You do never know. Yeah, tectonic plates move about. That's what they do.
Especially in these Bond films.
One of my favourite Pierce Brosnan films, dear sir, is Bag of Bones, which is a two-parter. It's Stephen King. It was based on a Stephen King novel. Beautiful in that. It was because I had only ever seen you in James Bond, of course, mainly action films, Dante's Peak and Taggart, things like that. Taggart, Tiffin.
Taffin.
Taffin.
Taggart.
I was wondering what you said. Taggart.
Robbie Coltrane. Working now. Robbie Coltrane. That's cracking.
Yeah.
It wasn't it? No one knows anything anymore.
We're in a postmodern age.
Yeah. But Bag of Bones was amazing. It was more like a dramatic sort of thing, but because I was spurred on by my complete love of yourself, sir, it was an absolute gorgeous thing to watch. And the direction in that was pretty good as well. Because sometimes the Stephen King books, even though they're some of the best novels in the world, don't get the best film remakes. Granted, there are some amazing ones, Maximum Overdrive, Christine, but this one was also up there with some of the top works, sir. So very, very well done, and thank you. I've watched it many times over.
Indeed. Thank you.
No, you're very welcome.
Before we start with round one, I have to ask you, were you, prior to Bond, a fan of the Bond films?
Absolutely. The first film I saw at the cinema was Goldfinger.
What a start. What a start.
For me, Connery was always number one best Bond. He was just absolutely on the money. He was there. I loved what Moore did with it. He brought the laughs in, which is great. Dalton was good. Dalton was very much, you can see him there as he's a killer. Definitely he's a killer. But he lost some of the humour. But
it did, they went quite gritty.
Yeah, so they're trying to...
He lost the suave and the class.
Yeah, he needs to be smooth.
He was very... Yeah, but
they're the only two James Bond films with swearing in. Very minor swearing. I think there's just an S-bomb.
Yes. Of course, Mr. Dalton also swears in Flash Gordon as well.
Oh, yeah. No. And in Hot Fuzz.
He calls Ming a bastard, I believe. I just hope you need to bleep that out for family viewers.
Yeah, fucking right. I think they did start. Then you came along with Bond, and I think you kind of like you got an amalgamation of the three big Bonds before you into one. Really,
Thank you.
You definitely had the right tone. You had some humor on there. You had the suave sophistication, but you also had, if you had to, it could be a bit gritty. And then Daniel Craig. A lot of people aren't that keen on Daniel Craig if they're fans of the latest stuff. I like Daniel Craig's stuff.
He is very good. For example, Spectre, he was a great Bond in that, but it needed tightening up. He needs a lot of things. He needed a good script and a good actor, and he's a great actor for Bond. He's got the presence. He's got he could do smooth, and he can do I'm a killer. It's what you need.
Yeah, I feel with Skyfall when they brought that one round. I think because they had a struggle. Which one was prior to that? Was it Quantum?
Yeah, Quantum of Solace was before that.
Which was very poor, and I feel that they did the whole let's throw nostalgia at the fans in Skyfall to try and keep it going, and I think they did hang off nostalgia. Apart from Daniel Craig himself and Judi Dench. I mean, she's brilliant.
I thought Skyfall was excellent,
Absolutely.
But there's a problem when you have things you're used to. It's difficult, you the fans want certain things, but then you can't keep serving fans the same thing every time. So with my films, there was a certain escalation because you can't do the same things. You try new things. Maybe they work, maybe they don't. Some you win, some you lose.
Yeah. I actually, even though I was very sad to see you leave the role as James Bond.
As was I.
I actually, yes, but I also do appreciate. I mean, it was. You notice that it's actually time, like you've done a few films. You can see you're starting to get invisible cars now.
Yeah.
Things are going a bit different, and you just hands off. Okay, look, guys, I'm actually happy with my footprint in the James, because most people, knowing that these films gross so much and they'll bring so much money in, will just carry on and just milk the franchise. But I think you realise that it needed a mix change, and that's it. You got the job done.
Well,
personally, I don't like Daniel Craig, but hey, each of their own.
The interesting with the films is that I was certainly in favour of doing a fifth Bond, and then we were in negotiations, and then the production companies sort of stopped. So obviously now I'm too old, which is fair enough. But I was happy to do another one, but it's hard to know how to look at things, especially when you're doing these big action sequences, and then 9/11 happens, and it's like, oh. Well, how does Bond fit in with that kind of world when you're surfing on giant tidal waves? It doesn't really feel right. Whereas my Bond was the end of the Cold War transition. GoldenEye was absolutely spot on.
Yeah. And I mean, let's not forget as well. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, of course, Pierce, but I think they actually tried. Timothy Dalton wanted another movie. Was that right? Did he want another movie? And then they said, no, we're not doing that. We've got this new guy. He's amazing.
We were in discussion. Timothy Dalton didn't get his second film because they wanted me for Living Daylights. And
right.
I was obviously doing Remington Steele at the time. And the production company were quite happy to say, oh, okay, we'll let Pierce be Bond. That's fine. We'll reorganise the schedules and such like. So you can do it. And they're like, no, well, and then they were gonna cancel Remington Steele, which was fine, and then Bond were like, no, they're gonna do it, and they kept changing, and then they said, oh, they're gonna do Remington Steele. So then I stayed with Remington Steele, and then they wouldn't want me to do both, and then unfortunately I didn't get Bond because of that, and then they cancelled Remington Steele, which is a bit of a shame.
Right. Yeah. But hey, at least what you put all your eggs in one basket. Let's everyone stop messing about. I'm on this side. You deal with it how you want to.
I was perfectly happy to do both. And hubby wasn't so keen when I first met him. He said, "No, Remington Steele will never be Bond. He's the big man. What can you do?"
Yeah, I mean he's right.
And it was interesting when I met Bruce Willis. He was, of course, he got into all the films, and he was moving slightly from the TV, like myself. And then obviously he's got on his way, and then I was doing all right, and then suddenly I lost Steele, I lost Bond. It was like, oh, okay, what can you do?
But then, of course, you went on to be, my favourite James Bond, at least of all time, and probably had enough money to live on for the rest of your life.
It also helped pay for your Malibu beach house. What people often do, due to you're allowed to camp on the beach. So what some people do, they camp on the beach or have a mobile home on the beach, and then you don't need to pay tax on a caravan on the beach. And then you build a house around the caravan, and that's fine too. And then you have these strange houses which have a very small caravan somewhere in the middle of them. But it's a massive tax charge. Yeah,
Really?
It's quite well,
Well,
slow.
there you go.
There's
So have you got a caravan in your house?
just in case, in case you want to go somewhere.
Just
For the
keep it in the
weekend,
garage,
drive
don't
out. But for legal reasons, it is just a caravan. So. A mobile home. A split-level mobile home with a swimming pool.
You've got a Masonette caravan. Right, ladies and gentlemen, Pierce Brosnan, Edward, let's go into round one.
Mike's list. And if I hit spin, tickety tick, 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 tick. Oh,
what is that? Man with the golden gun.
Man with
I
the
was very
golden
close
gun.
to Q.
Yeah.
Very close to Q. That would have been a clean sweep, I'm sure.
Yeah, I was going to say that would be a good bit of continuity there.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, let's have a look at my list. So, let's spin. Tickety tick, 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 tick.
Boom.
Boris
Grishenko. I'm invincible.
Yes.
So you've got a small part in Goldeneye, and I've got the entire
You've got
film.
the entire
Man with the Golden
film.
Gun.
Yeah, it's going to be intriguing to see how this works. But I'm sure, Pierce, you actually said, and this is amazing. I never thought you'd spend the time. I know you didn't watch all of previous podcast episodes, but you said you watched two. One you were thoroughly, the second one you were thoroughly invested in. The first one you watched in the background.
Yes.
So you get the whole sense of this round. You are impartial. You are going to act like you've never heard of these before, and you are going to ask us questions on our given subjects or areas. So just everyone else knows that, I'm sure, but we will start with that. So you can then start with a question for Mike or myself, and you can alternate as much as you want to decide who wins.
So, Michael, this man with a golden gun.
Indeed,
what's this
sir.
gun then?
This gun, it actually comprises of a cigarette case, a lighter, and a pen. And the cigarette case, this Christopher Lee, of all people, plays the man with the golden gun. He has these three items on him at all times, and he's a hitman, right? He assassinates people. He gets paid £1 million or dollars a shot, as the theme tune would have you believe. So, basically he carries them around, and he gets through all the customs and all these metal detectors and things, because of course these three inanimate objects by themselves mean nothing, but if you put them together, you have yourself a gun, a very lethal weapon, of which he uses to kill people with. He is an incredible shot, and that's why, of course, that's why the song goes, it's $1 million per kill, because it's per bullet, per kill. He only uses one shot. It's always in the forehead. No one's surviving that. He's a lead class character and murderer.
So, and Ed, this Boris Grishenko fellow.
Yes. Right. So Boris Grishenko, he was like a computer hacker from what I remember. This was GoldenEye. It was the first one I saw, and he was a character that caught my attention. And I think everyone will agree who's watched it. The reason it's caught my attention, I am trying to find a pen in front of me. I can't find a pen in front of me.
You should ask Christopher Lee.
Yes.
I mean, he's dead as well. Rest in peace.
But
but if you've got he always did this thing with the pen, like when he's trying to concentrate on the computer work, he flicked it all around his hands, and it's impossible. Mike and I were just discussing it the other day. Yeah. And it was the first thing you remember, apart from the whole "I am invincible" bit where he explodes at the end. But he's kind of like, I think he was he undercover, and then he became a hacker. You found out he was working for the other people. It's been such a long time. It's just I'm not going to win this. I know, I can tell, but I could just remember the character it wasn't so much of it was almost a comedy element, not quite. It just had the right edge, the perfect edge for comedy for the film. I might even have to ask you about it afterwards. But I had him, and from GoldenEye, Xenia on the top as well.
Oh, yes.
The Thigh Killer.
Bless her.
Yeah. But,
she always did enjoy a good squeeze.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
sorry to do you there, Pierce.
yeah. So, and there's the big bit at the end where they're fighting, and he's they're trying to move the antenna at the end of GoldenEye, and he's there hacking away, and he's trying to get this antenna to reset back, and he's like, "Yes, I've done it," and that's when it comes up with the whole "I am invincible" bit, and then the whole fucking place just blows up. And it is just because of little moments like that. I know it's not a lot, and I know I haven't got anything to go with on a character versus a film here, which is a minor character versus a film, but it's that how it's so significant to it. You say Boris from GoldenEye, and people always think of that line or think of the pen, and it's just crazy. I mean, the whole thing about the pen was because that was what blew it up.
Yep.
It was your gadget. It was the one when if you click so many times. So they kept watching him all the time, flicking this thing around. They go click, and they'd like he was so close to doing it each blooming time. But yeah, and then at the end he did.
Yeah. That was one of my favourite Q moments, actually, when you're testing the pen, Pierce, and you click it, and Q's just told you press it once to arm it, press it once to disarm it. It's got a 5-second fuse, and you click it, and then just go, how long did you say the fuse was?
It's always great fun winding up Q, bless him.
Yeah. Oh, do behave, 007. Yeah. There you go. Boris was, he went outside for a cigarette from the Zvernya satellite that he was working at when he was employed, and that is when he was kidnapped by the helicopter they had stolen, which was invisible to radar. They kidnapped him, stole
that was
him.
right. Yes, that was it.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to think of. Correct. Yeah. He was going out for his cigarette. Yeah. I remember now.
Of course, played by Alan Cummings.
Indeed.
It was Alan Cummings. Last thing I saw him, he played King James in the last series of Doctor Who.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen anything else with that
I
man
was a
in.
fan. I was a fan of a little sitcom he did where he played an air steward called The High Life. That was entertaining.
Oh God, The High Life. Yeah, I think he was in Spy Kids as well.
Yeah, they're good fun, those films.
Well, you say ooh, but it's interesting because you've got to remember who directed Spy Kids, and it's the guy that did things like Dusk Till Dawn,
Robert Rodriguez,
and such. Yes,
and of course all the stars, including Ricardo Montalban.
Yes, yeah, it was quite interesting. To be honest, it's something that I could see yourself in.
Yes,
you know, almost like because I know you're more than happy to, you know, as long as it's still a good part to parody yourself.
As I said,
well, not yourself, but the character.
With acting, I've certainly did some less good pictures in my career, but people say, "Oh, why'd you do these films?" Well, I'm an actor, but I still have school fees to pay and mortgages to pay, and you've still got to work. And you know, sometimes it's nice to have a choice. Obviously, given it.
There are two people I respect in the movie and acting industry. One of them, then for two almost opposite reasons. One is if you remember Rick Moranis,
yes,
who his wife passed away, and then he retired from acting. So he could look after his kids and spend time with his kids. That's why he disappeared. But then the other one is Liam Neeson.
Yes.
Liam Neeson's wife passed away as well,
that was terrible.
which is such a shame.
I thought you were going to say she was taken then for a moment.
No, let's not go there. I'm trying to be respectful here. You've got to remember, Pierce probably knows Liam very well.
Lovely man. Lovely man.
Yeah. So he
want to mess with a big fella. He's a big fella.
Sorry? Yes, I can imagine. He then when she passed away, he wasn't so. I think his words were he wasn't very so picky with his roles. That's why these are Taken films. They felt like they were getting rinsed, and then he did similar ones like Taken and such. He was like, even if he's stereotyped or not, in the end of the day, he wants to do films where he doesn't have to travel far. He's going to get paid well, and the production times are shorter, just so he can still act, yet spend time with his kids and make sure that his children have got the money that they need.
It's very, very sensible.
Yeah.
I know. When Michael Caine was asked about, I think it was one of the Jaws films. It might be Jaws, The Revenge, or was that? It was an absolutely terrible movie. But the house that it bought was beautiful.
That's it. Sometimes one mini talks.
Yeah. Was Michael Caine in a Jaws movie?
Also,
really?
I believe Patrick Stewart is in a film called Life Force, which is excellent, sort of a very strange space vampire film, and he's in it. And it's a very strange film, but he's in it because he needed to get his bay windows repaired. But people have expenses.
That's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's good to have the choice, isn't it? Like when you're like, oh, actually, I've still got some money left. I don't want to do anything. And then suddenly, oh, actually, that new Aston Martin comes out next month. I might do a film.
Yeah, what can I do?
Yeah. It's good to have the choice. Ask some more questions, Pierce. What do you want to know?
So, Boris Grishenko in GoldenEye was the villain's sort of sidekick. Was there a similar character with the man with the golden gun?
There was. You had Knick Knack, who, by all intents and purposes, was Midget. But he was a very comical character, and I mean, it was he did add a little bit of comical relief while still managing to be completely lethal.
Can I just say, potential spoiler alert here? Knick Knack is on my shit list.
I mean, that's why, right? He's an absolute dickhead, but because of that, he's a good villain. That's the sidekick. Yes. I guess you could go on to say, I don't know. I don't want to elaborate on your question too much. But then they had the man with the golden gun. Well, the gun wasn't his only gadget, and this was one of the big things about the man with the golden gun and Christopher Lee playing him, was that he had a flying car as well. So for the first time, James Bond's in America with nothing but an AMC that he stole from a showroom and a police officer next to him who's just amazed by the fact that he's with a secret agent. Woo! Who's he there? Wow! And yeah, so they're going along. They do this barrel roll. You probably remember it. It's pretty iconic, going through the air and then landing. True story, by the way. The stuntman was ill that day and didn't show up. So one of the cameramen just went, oh, you know what? Fuck it, I'll do it. And he actually did the barrel roll. I
remember watching that. That was I think that was one of the documentaries they did around the time they brought James Bond back with yourself, Pierce, and that's when they started doing like. I don't think they called it 00 Heaven back then in the GoldenEye times. I think that was later on, but they did have that. They ITV was just rinsing out all the Bond films, and they did the documentary and such. And that's when I started watching them all. Really,
exactly the same. Me and my dad sat down. The first one we watched was A View to a Kill.
And
I was
Walken.
I was hooked. I know, right? That's still my favourite Christopher Walken role. Well, that and the Weapon of Choice music video for Fatboy Slim.
Absolutely brilliant, yes.
So, going back to this car chase, sorry, you get the barrel roll and everything. So James Bond is now without any gadgets or anything. He's just in a American muscle car chasing this guy. And then the guy gets he's in his car and he just takes off. And there's just this moment where he's like, oh, fucking hell. Come on, where's Q when you need him?
He's always the way.
He's not. He's always never too far away. But yeah, he really meets his maker in that one. Yeah.
So Ed, Boris,
brilliant stuff. Yes.
What's your favourite? How does Bond deal with Boris? Does he punch him out? Does he have a big punch up? Or?
I don't think they have a point of a punch up. No, he's very much of a. He's very much like his boss, shall we say? He's very much like you do what you're told, but he is very much. No one is going to be better than him at what he does. He's like the computers is my thing. No one's better than me at it. And there's one point where I can't remember her blooming name. Hang on a second. Was it Natalia?
Natalia Simonova.
Yeah, Natalia in it, because then she tries to take over and then they get caught and then she gets pushed away and he's like, oh no, that's the one. There it is again.
Great game.
Oh, have you played it yourself?
Oh, yes.
The GoldenEye on the N64.
Of course.
Really?
I can imagine.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, you should be quite familiar with the Golden Gun as well.
The rule is, of course, no odd job.
No odd job.
This is amazing, ladies and gentlemen. You've heard it here first.
I can imagine like the whole cast and crew just having this on a TV on the set and just like when they're not on screen, just playing it. I don't know what order they came out, but yeah. Sorry, carry on.
So they don't have a punch up, but Boris, he does try to hit a woman.
He does.
Yes, he's stopped at the last second. The woman who's trying to interfere with his work, Natalia. He goes to punch her. Then the main villain stops him at the last second, tells him to get back to his desk and get on with his work.
Yes, quite right too.
Give me the passcode, Natalia. Give them to me.
Yeah, that's it. And so then he just ends up hacking away at the end, spinning his pen round and telling everyone how brilliant he is at what he does.
Yes.
Yeah, in fact, Boris is the only, he doesn't get touched by James Bond, does he?
No, he doesn't really.
Alec gives him a slap, but yeah.
It all goes on. Yeah, all that happens is, he just gets a slap and that's about it.
Yeah.
Well, sounds like a well-deserved slap.
I guess you could say Pierce Brosnan did kill him by, well, James Bond, shall we say?
Sorry. Let's say Q did.
Yeah?
Yeah, because ultimately the grenade that you gave to him blows him up. Let's just go with that. You planted it perfectly and you knew that would happen.
Yeah,
that's the way Bond works. a bit of skill, a bit of luck, a bit of charm. So,
yeah, that's
Man
it.
with a Golden Gun. What's the funniest bit that you enjoy?
The funniest bit that I enjoyed. You know what? The aforementioned American police officer. I forget his bloody name. It's like Deputy D. Body or Bubby Jobby Bobby Blow. Let's just have a look here. No, don't know. But yeah, he's amazing. And that contrast of characters as well. Because actually, we mentioned that Roger Moore is the most comical James Bond there is. But to see, for that moment when they're sat in that car together, he's serious. He's on a mission. He needs to catch the man with the golden gun. And the passenger is this guy. And it's just such an eccentric Southern character. And it's just the contrast of those two is always quite amusing. But I think the funniest bit for me would probably be right at the end. Yet again, knick-knack. They're in the bed, they're all, necking and stuff. And then suddenly, odd job, and he's got a knife and he's trying to kill him. And it's just great because normally, the sidekick, if you like, goes before the main villain. So it's good to have that, and for him to still have such anger after that is great. But yeah, that would probably be my most comical moment. A midget flying around the room, just scouring on the floor like almost like a rat, like trying to get under the couch and everything, whilst Roger Moore is really just wanting to finish the job, as it were.
A man's got needs.
Yeah. But yeah. I've always wanted to, I don't know if you remember, Ed, you might have to see if you can get this in for the people viewing on YouTube, but the bed that they have in The Man with the Golden Gun on that boat is amazing. I've always wanted to recreate it. It would only be like a bit of, 2x4, like, screw it all together. But it's like sunk in the ground and it's got like plush, like bolstering on the sides. So you actually sleep in the bed and then it comes up the sides here and you can open it up and they open it up and inside is, I think, probably an ashtray and a bottle of wine and the telephone and stuff like that. But it'd be amazing just to put your phone in your glasses if you're a glasses wearer in there, and just close it.
Nice and tidy.
Almost like a bedside cabinet. Yeah. But there you go.
Oh. Ed, or Mr. Ed, perhaps, not confused with the talking horse.
Yes.
What else can we ask him?
Throwback.
What else can we ask about Boris?
Well, how far in are we at the moment? If there's anything else you want to ask, feel free. I'm just more concerned about your own time.
Yes.
That's all, Pierce.
I think we've exhausted Mr. Grushenko, although he's a absolutely great site. Great.
Yeah, there's not a lot to go on.
Bless him.
I will be honest.
He's fantastic.
He's an interesting character.
Oh, actually, yes, I can ask you more about the film, but that's not Boris.
No, you're quite limited, I think, Ed.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
we're very limited with the film. It's more about the character themselves.
Do you know what, though? I don't mean to put words in your mouth, Pierce, remaining impartial, but Boris is definitely, when you think of GoldenEye, he is in your head. You don't think about, I actually think of Boris, before even Urabov or
the Russian guy with the big hat.
exactly. Rest in peace. He died a couple years ago.
Yes, bless him. Or be Coltrane. He was in it as well.
Yes.
Yeah, see, these are people I forget about. And the first thing I think is Boris, and then I think of Killer Thighs. Well, the two things I think of.
Don't we all?
Yeah. Sorry, Ed, you're missing out Pierce here.
I
think I'm more the audience self-insert character, obviously. Yourself, can you withstand the Killer Thighs?
I don't know. It's worth a risk, I think.
I think a lot of people thought the same thing.
Go on then, Pierce. Give it to us.
So certainly, obviously you had the exciting car chase in Man with the Golden Gun. Were there any exciting vehicle type chases involving Boris?
No, he was a desk jockey.
Yeah.
So
riding a desk. Possibly had wheels on the desk.
I can't let
surreal. This is so surreal.
That's all part of the fun. That's a nice thing like lockdown. People have to pick all kind of actors are trying all kinds of new things are available. So you can't, filming is much more difficult. So just people doing Zoom calls and it's a new world. It's a new world.
Well, you never know. This might branch your career further. You never know.
Pierce does podcasts.
There's nothing for us. Nothing for us whatsoever,
no.
Pierce. Don't worry. It's all for you. It's all for you.
I shan't let A Round with the Man with the Golden Gun end before I talk just for a moment about Mr. Scaramanga's house. Mr. Scaramanga being the guy, the man with the golden gun. So his house is it's on an island, a very remote island. You can only get to it by a boat plane. In fact, you probably could get to it by a normal boat as well, to be honest. But it is incredible. Let's not get into the whole laser thing. That's the whole reason why. Don't worry about it. It's okay.
Everyone likes lasers.
It has. Yay! Well, GoldenEye. It's basically a big laser. But there's a fun house, I guess you could say, in his, which is like a training, basically, of course, because this guy's an assassin, he has to train himself as well and takes it very seriously.
It's a psychedelic mind maze.
yeah. And there's like props and there's like galleys and gauntlets that you have to go through and mirror rooms and all this stuff. So the finale, spoilers, by the way, if you haven't seen Man with the Golden Gun from 1974, please
go and see it.
Watch it before this. It's in the cinema.
See all the Bond films.
Yes. Scaramanga and James Bond find themselves in the funhouse training room, if you like, with all these obstacles and everything. And of course, Scaramanga knows the inside and out. But watching James Bond and Roger Moore, especially his acting prowess going through this, kind of, because don't forget, as James Bond, as you know, Pierce, you walk around and you are the big dog, right? You are James
Absolutely.
Bond. But you really are like on your back foot in there, you don't know what's going on, and he's ahead of you, and that he is, well, the most lethal man on the world until James Bond comes in the room. So to watch that change yet again, we talked about it earlier with the fact that this guy had a gadget and flew off in the car. Now, being on the back foot yet again in a maze, psychedelic maze room, as you say, the fun house controlled by Knick Knack in like some sort of like towery sort of like comms place. It's really good. That is an amazing scene. Those of you who have seen it, I've explained it terribly, but those of you who have seen it will know exactly what I mean and will be glad that I mentioned it. But yeah, this film really does have a lot of stuff in it. I don't know why I'm still trying.
So, does Boris have a fun house? Or any extraneous nipples? Because
not that I know
Boris is
no.
very much on the back foot. Okay, to the Man with the Golden Gun, the $1 million a shot. Although because Boris has a pen.
It's not even his. He's nicked it.
And it's not even part of a gun. He doesn't drive. His pen is not even his pen.
Yeah. I see where you're coming with this. Right, let's give us the results. Then go on. Put me out my misery.
I think this one, Michael wins this round. Although I've a lot of respect for Boris, but it's got to be the Man with the Golden Gun in this one.
Well, I think I'm going to take that as a rather large victory because, of course, Boris was in one of your films. So
indeed, great.
If that's
great
not non-biased, I don't know what is.
But got to respect Roger Moore and Christopher Lee.
Indeed,
at work.
Very true. Very.
Thank you very much, Pierce. Okay, right. round two.
Round
What are you
two.
drinking, by the way, Pierce, tonight? What have you got there? Is that a bit of Jameson?
No, this is a. As I'm getting older, I have to take more care of my health. I had a birthday and lots of birthday cards up there. This is all lovely, nice birthday cards for all the fans and friends and the family and loved ones. And you walk in the room next day and you see one in the middle that says 60. So this is a sort of a fizzy vitamin drink. It's topped up with vitamins and minerals.
Lovely.
Beautiful stuff.
You're going to need it going forward because it's time for the crap round.
Indeed. So let's have a quick look. Let's go for we'll start with my shit list this time round. And here we go with a spin. Spin.
Ring of Fire. Quantum of Solace.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Interesting fact on my wheel, Quantum of Solace is there twice. Because we have the film and the video game.
Oh, right. So which ones is this?
Both rubbish. This is the film.
Oh, right. Oh, the other one says in brackets game, does it, or something?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
So that's the film. On Mike's shit list.
Spin the wheel.
Look.
Spin the wheel.
Spin. Oh, back to back.
Okay.
And this is the Craig version. This isn't the unofficial one with
the comedy.
What was his name? Pink Panther.
Peter Sellers.
No,
Yes.
it wasn't. No, sorry, it wasn't.
Oh, David
wasn't
Niven,
Peter
yes.
Sellers, it was the other
David
guy. David
And
Niven,
Woody Allen.
that's the guy. Yes. It's not that version. These are both two Daniel Craig films, and we have to explain why one is shitter than the other. So
yay!
that's very good.
We'll wait for Ed to finish. What have you got, Ed? Now, eh?
The black stuff.
Bit of Guinness.
1759.
In a Magnus glass.
What a tasty treat!
Yes.
I believe Magnus is from Clonmel.
Oh, right. Okay. How far away was that from you?
It's in Ireland. So there was a witch case there in the late 19th century, which was surprising.
Oh, wow.
But I could be mistaken.
I wonder if
it is quite early in the morning for me.
Yeah.
I wonder if that witch was accused of making shit cider, because that might maybe they go hand in hand.
I know one of the ciders in England is not sold under that name in Ireland because that name has a different connotation, as we say.
Oh, can you say
Strongbow.
what it is?
So Strongbow was the Norman adventurer who first invaded Ireland in the reign of Henry II.
Oh, really?
So it's not quite.
Do you know what's it called in Ireland?
I can't quite remember. I know it's not sold under that brand. For obviously reasons.
It's probably something really similar. Longbow.
Don't call it that. Like having a beer called, what are you drinking? I'm drinking Hitler.
Yeah. Okay. We should start selling a beer in Spain called just Drake's. Right.
Burning people's beards.
Yeah. Mr. Pierce Brosnan, ask us questions. We have Quantum of Solace as film for Edward, and I have Casino Royale, the 2004 version with Daniel Craig again.
So Ed, Quantum of Solace.
Yes.
Obviously,
sorry guys, I just realised it's 2006. Sorry, not 2004.
You lose a point for that. Ed, Quantum of Solace, obviously based on the short story by Ian Fleming. Why is it shit?
Possibly one. It's based loosely based on a short story by Ian Fleming. I believe, was Casino Royale originally a short story as well, or was it a full? It wasn't a full. It was a short story, wasn't it? It wasn't a full novel, from what I remember.
We'll have to ask him in a minute.
Yeah, we'll ask him in a moment. Anyway, so this is supposed to be like following on from Casino Royale. And it's I'm trying to remember her blooming name. What was the name of the woman in the first one? I can't remember. Anyway, but it's like he's angry now. Bond is angry. I think it all pretty much, from what I remember, it starts off on pretty much a car chase as such. Fun fact here: my brother-in-law at the time, he worked for Aston Martin.
Ooh, very
and
classy.
he was asked onto the set for Quantum of Solace because they needed like the electricals for the cars, so like the rev meters and such. They needed to go crazy for a camera scene in Quantum of Solace, and he was the person that instigated that. All the dials and such for it.
Excellent work.
He met Daniel Craig. He got an autograph from Daniel Craig and some bullet shells from the set.
Very cool.
The very interesting bit is the scene that he did was cut from the final version, and and it's possibly one of the worst Bond films. But yeah, it was basically him on a vengeance mission. Who Bond M wants to know more about this mysterious organization called Quantum, which I believe I'm trying to remember if it was Lashif from Mike's. It's very difficult to say this because it does start off from the film that you're going to be asking Mike about, if I'm honest. But it ends up being pretty much like a long, laborious, boring journey where not a lot happens, where he's trying to find this mysterious organization along with I'm trying to remember the name of the is it Strawberry Fields in this one, I think it is the name of the MI6 agent played by Gemma Arterton.
Oh yes.
But yes. But yeah, it's very missable. I've already said I watched Quantum of Solace originally. It was good for me because it was the first time you had HD TVs and you had Blu-ray, and I bought it on Blu-ray, and it was like, wow, this is beautiful. It's a wonderful film. I think Casino Royale I have a high regard for, and the later films as well, very good. But this is where they could have fallen on their backsides, and to be honest, I think Bond's lucky to carry on. I think they learnt a lot from this, the mistakes on this one. And a lot of it as well, it felt very much like an advert for Sony because is it Eon is now under Sony Pictures, I believe. I can't remember. Is that right? Is MGM is under Sony Pictures or Eon's under Sony Pictures?
It all gets very confusing with the corporate world. Is it who owns who and who buys who?
Eon Productions and MGM, and because then it's all under Columbia Pictures, which is distributed by then Sony Pictures. But lots of it is like, look at me with my Sony laptop, or my, they're all using Vios and they're using all Sony Xperias and such. A lot, it does feel very product placement. But Bond has always been like that. I guess,
Aston Martin,
with
cars and guns, which is fair enough. But
yeah,
but in the modern age of computers,
but I don't know. It just fell. I'm really trying to find a way to describe it because all I remember really is the car chase at the beginning, and then a bit of walking through a desert, and then I can't remember it. It's I think it might have been one of the only two films I've ever purchased on Sky Box Office because I didn't see it at the cinema. So I bought it on Sky Box Office. Because that's how eager I was to watch it, because I thought Casino Royale was great. I can't wait to see what happens next. And it's supposed to be a direct follow-up. And it was boring.
That's the worst thing. A Bond film being boring,
it was nearly 2 hours long, but it felt longer.
That's never a Bond film should never feel like that way. So
no.
Michael, Casino Royale. 2006? Was it 2004?
It was 2006, yes.
Why is it shit?
So
I'm intrigued with this.
I can't believe that Ed thinks that this film wasn't boring and that Quantum of Solace was. Because even though I will agree that Quantum of Solace was very forced, and the reason for that, I thought, was that because this film, even though it was very dramatic and tense, I guess you could say, it's basically they're just playing poker the whole fucking film. They were critically acclaimed for, or the critics were saying when they were reviewing it, it's good, but James Bond, right? I mean, there's not much to do when you're basing films on books, and the book was written in such a fashion as for James Bond to walk into a casino, be an absolute suave man, and build relationships, whether they be positive or negative, with people to try and bankrupt the villain, basically, was the aim of the game. But it missed out such. There's a Bond girl in it, of course. You know, you've got to fall in love. There's got to be a bit of totty in the corner, but you got the Aston Martin. They'd got the new DB9 back then, and he just got it. It was new, and he just drove it into the car park. That's it. You're like, what? Where's the car chase?
Can I interject?
Please.
There was a car chase in it, and I'm not saying this to defend it, but even though I love the film, there was a car chase in it when he went to go get the Bond girl, which was called Vesper Lind, by the way, who was then taken away by, I keep trying to remember his name. I keep thinking it's Lashif in this one. I can't remember. No, it's Felix, wasn't it? I can't remember. Anyway, he went to go chase him, and then immediately, I think someone shot out his tyres within a minute, and then the car flipped and it crashed. It totaled it. So they instigated a car chase. He didn't get far. He got about a minute or 30 seconds, and then the car was totaled. So
what a waste of a car. Yeah.
There was a few seconds of car chase, but not a lot.
That's more than I was aware of. I remember because you know what, it's very rare that I watch a film and I just stop. I'm like, this isn't what I want from a film right now. When you watch like just a completely spontaneous film, this new film's come out, I'm going to watch it. You kind of have a bit more of a tolerance, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what to expect. And you go, okay, maybe that's going to happen. But this, when it starts off with parkour.
Always good. I was a big fan of him in Thunderbirds.
Oh.
yes, milady. It was excellent. It was always good to see him in a Bond film.
Okay, let's go for free running. Starts off with free running. Which I remember at the time, for some reason, gained a massive popularity. It was a French thing, then came over to here, and they thought they would shove it in the beginning of the film to try and get younger audiences and maybe involved in it or something.
Kids do like running about. You see them in
like running about,
playgrounds and stuff.
Yeah, well, Pierce, all right. Was that when you picked up your own kids and you were waiting?
Family
for
man, kids running around. They like that. They like they're always climbing and running and go down swings and slides.
Yeah.
So why not put that in a Bond film? Roundabouts.
Why not? The magic.
I believe
roundabout.
there's also. I believe Casino Royale has a skipping rope as well. I mean, is there some kind of skipping rope scene?
I don't know. It's probably piano wire.
No,
but
what you mean the torture scene?
Exactly.
They have a he's sitting naked in a bottomless chair, and they're doing the pendulous swing into his nads.
What?
It was
this
quite,
Casino Royale?
Yeah.
Really?
Couple of nads.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
Any good torture scenes in Quantum of Solace?
Yeah, watching it. The Casino Royale. It was. It's interesting because one of the things people never seem to like about it was. Do you remember on His Majesty's Secret Service? It's one where Bond got married.
Yeah. And Bond also wore,
and then she was shot at the end, and I think they were going to try and continue. Yeah.
Do you see the things are here? We're getting traits here. OHMSS is also on my shit list.
Yeah.
But like, you're getting traits. You're doing something new, right? Here's George Lazenby. He's the new James Bond. He's going to be great. He gets married. Why are you fucking Bond up? Stop it. And then, of course, you got Casino Royale, where it's supposed to be an action film. You got all the tropes there.
Mm-hmm. But the tropes aren't there. The tropes are all at the end. I mean, it works because you've got Vesper Lind, and you find out Vesper Lind could possibly, look like she was a double agent after all. She may not have been kidnapped, and they were luring him away.
Ed, this is us proposing our shit films, and then at the end, Pierce chooses.
Stop.
It's not an argument scenario.
All right, Aidan. Shout out to Aidan Half Troll.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just saying that they all set it up well with a double agent, but then because he finds out that it may have been her making a deal to actually save Bond's life at the end. So it all intertwines, and Vesper Lind may well be one of the best Bond girls because of it. And also, you've got to remember, this is 2006. This is not a bit when you can keep calling Bond girls a bit of totty, Michael. People have to evolve and change with the times, and so do films. And I think they have done very well at it.
Even in GoldenEye,
they have to revitalise it because. No offence to Pierce here at all, no offence, but you have to admit that Pierce's last film which is also on my shit list, it was getting a bit stale. It was getting dated. It was going over the top and dated, and they have to change with the times, and that's how Bond has worked.
Yes, you can't keep escalating and escalating forever. It's just it doesn't work.
No, they were constantly trying to one-up each other, and it did get more out of control. And I think even yourself, Pierce, you did say that Die Another Day was a bit of a dive, even though it was fun on set. It was fun being with everyone and doing the film.
I don't know what Die Another Day was about. I couldn't explain it. I couldn't explain it.
Man's got diamonds in his face.
So it's all very strange. And certainly Tomorrow Never Dies, I enjoyed. Was what's it about? Shots of people.
I feel somewhat slaughtered, I must say, this round. Ed, I haven't watched these Daniel Craig films very much because I don't like him as a James Bond character.
He was very good in Sharp.
Yeah. Haven't seen it. Don't like him as an actor.
In Quantum, were there any... Also, you mentioned earlier, Ed, that in Skyfall, that you thought there was too much nostalgic callbacks. Was there any nostalgic callbacks in Quantum of Solace?
No, the only callback of it really was suggested to be a direct continuation of after the events of Casino Royale. So one of the other villains in Casino Royale, there was Mr. White, and it started off that he's captured Mr. White and he's trying to deliver Mr. White to M. That's where the whole car chase happens, and that's when you find out that further then you've got Lashif from the first one, you got Mr. White. They're all entangled in this whole quantum organization. Which does then later on, that whole thing comes back. You find out it's all part of Inspector. You find out it's all intertwined, and it's Spectre was supposed to be almost like a concluding story arc for the whole thing. But you don't have to see each individual one like Bond films. You can pick up any Bond film, watch it. It's great. Casino Royale, no, not really. You're like, if you go in cold on Casino Royale, you will be, what the fuck is going on? Even if you have watched Casino Royale beforehand, you go, what the fuck is going on? Because it's just,
I believe there was.
It's not very well done.
I think there was a nostalgic death. I have to call you out there, Ed. I believe there was a nostalgic callback death in Quantum of Solace.
Okay.
With, I believe that Gemma Arterton was killed in a very similar way to one of my favourite Bond films, Goldfinger.
Was it like a piranha thing?
No, she was. I believe she was.
No, they're spraying gold.
And covered in oil, I believe, in a very similar way.
Oh right,
left naked on the bed, load of oil.
Oh, I don't remember it.
Well, there's a few things I do remember at Quantum of Solace.
Yeah, I don't know.
So,
I just got a lot of negative vibes when I was watching Casino Royale, and that is, I think, because I was just so unhappy with you stopping, Pierce.
Of course.
And I think that probably then led on to me disliking Daniel Craig because he then took the throne, and a bad taste in my mouth. And because of that, I got into Casino Royale before I'd even given it a chance. But I will say that even though, as Ed and yourself have said, it is if you hang in there and do pay attention, it unfolds and is a visual masterpiece. 90% of the film is sat in a poker room.
So was it true to the original story, Casino Royale? Because Quantum of Solace, Ed mentioned, is not really at all. How well does Casino Royale link to the original?
The thing is, as far as it can be, it is faithful. But the problem is that because Ian Fleming's books were so detailed, you have things like he explains that actually he drove a Blower Bentley, I think, when he first pulled up, and he explained that it had a lovely wooden side. And of course, this is like a 1940s car, tick tick tick, look, like think chitty chitty bang bang looking open wheel, over fenders, all that sort of stuff, and. They replicated that, I guess, with the Aston Martin, or tried to. At least it's a British manufacturer, I guess. But I mean, as much as they could, yes, they did keep to the book. But I don't know. It can fuck off, as far as I'm concerned. Pierce, do it. Do it again.
Before we we conclude on this. I think now with what Mike has said, I just want to point something out here, and this is something I didn't know. This is one of our listeners actually, Sazzle Shakes. She kindly compiled a list of interesting facts about yourself.
Okay.
One of them that she pointed out that you were, especially when you were younger, you were an avid fan of Doctor Who.
Absolutely, yes. A big fan of the Doctor. Bless him. Big fan.
Bless them now.
Or is it him?
But
because he keeps reincarnating, regenerating.
Yeah, but that's it. But this is what James Bond is quite like.
Yes.
It is that it's not just about the character that changes. But you've also got the production style, the direction of it, different aspects of it, and that's how I feel James Bond works through change.
Very much, yes.
And that's what it has done with Daniel Craig's Bond. I think a lot of people, when Timothy Dalton came along, a lot of people went, "This isn't James Bond anymore. Look at it. It's just a guy in a leather jacket jumping out of planes. It's not James Bond anymore."
Nothing wrong with leather.
But yes, nothing wrong. I appreciate the leather jacket you are wearing today, Mr. Brosnan.
But Roger, bless him. Well, he himself in his films recognised that he was getting on a bit. He was old when he was quite old when he started, and then but looking younger. Then there was bits where it looks like he's about to be intimate with a teenage ice skater in one of his later films, and they said, no, let's go for an ice cream, because they recognise that this is this is.
Well, I think for your eyes only actually was supposed to be Timothy Dalton, wasn't it? And that's then why Roger Moore came in to do it as like a bit of a okay.
And then his final film was Octopussy, which was excellent. I very much enjoyed Octopussy. Plenty of action. And
yes. Yeah, I mean, he does the Indiana Jones across the train.
He does, dressed as a clown.
Yeah.
But I understand that Casino Royale, I will agree with Mike, it's at a slower pace. But it's at a slower pace, but I think it's got a great story behind it. It's got brilliant acting. It's visually appealing. And I just love it. I can't explain. I get what Mike's saying, it just seems like it's just poker. But it's not. It's about characters playing off each other, which is what you often get in poker. Yeah. A lot of it is bluffing.
Ed, this is unfair, Ed.
That's outside the poker table.
I can't talk about Quantum of Solace because I haven't really seen it.
Well, that's what.
So stop slating me because I can't retort with anything.
I'm saying because it's on my good list.
In that case, I think as Quantum of Solace, I'm gonna give it to Ed, because Quantum of Solace is clearly must be bad because you haven't even seen it. Although also I will say in defense of Casino Royale, as in give it at this point, they check from the book. They're not playing poker. They're playing Baccarat, which is a game of, you try and get as close to 9 as possible, and they basically just draw cards, and you don't.
So it's like blackjack.
Yeah, it's like blackjack, but it loops around or something. So it goes over. So if you say get up to 11, that's counts as 1. So therefore, you've lost.
I have just checked the wiki. It does say poker.
But in the original,
high stakes poker.
In the film.
No, for the film. For the film we're talking about, it says high stakes poker.
That was for the better. I think Quantum of Solace. So that's. I think that's the winner in this one.
As in, it's the worst.
It is the worst one. I believe so. Eva Green was fantastic.
Right.
I remember what I was
round 3. Everyone.
Let's carry on.
Pierce, please.
No, I was saying I was in Dublin. I think in 2004, and a man came up to me and said, "Oh, wanted to shake my hand." So, okay, I'll shake your hand. It's fair enough. Shook his hand. He said, "Yeah, so this, thanks for that, Pierce. That's as close as I'm going to get to Halle Berry's arse." Which is just wonderful. Bless him.
Bless him.
I mean, it's not true. You could try harder.
A man's reach must exceed his grasp. What else is heaven for?
Right. Round 3.
1-1.
Let's go for Pierce's films. And as always, guys, we will get our film selected for us by the wheel, and then we are going to have a 5-minute Googling break whilst we, try and back up some knowledge about it and do a bit of research. And then we're going to pretend, car salesman style, that this is our most favourite film ever, and try and sell it to Pierce in the best way possible.
I'm just having a quick look through your films here. We removed 2, didn't we? We had Snowpiercer.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was behind Snowpiercer? Except for the fact it's got Pierce in the name.
That obviously, because it could have been. I was thinking right. it might have been a biopic about me at Christmas time. It's quite nice, lovely. Also, I thought it had that ginger Chris Evans in it off the telly, but it wasn't. It wasn't even him.
Oh no!
It's shocking.
Was it the other one?
Yeah, the other
was it the Captain America?
Yeah,
one?
the one that's never been ginger, which is very confusing.
Yeah.
But I think it's very good what Equity do, that people don't have only have one person of the same name, so it doesn't get confusing. Which is why Michael Caine's Michael Caine.
Yeah, that is true. I think David Tennant, his name's David McDonald because Royal Acting Association, I can't remember, RADA, or whatever it is. There was already someone registered as David McDonald at the time.
Also, that's why it's Michael J. Fox.
Yes,
there was already a Michael Fox.
Didn't Billy Piper call David Tennant David Tennant?
Apparently so. That's what the Sun said.
Yeah.
There's always rumours about all those big stars.
What?
No,
what was
they
the
said
other
that
one?
they said it on Top Gear. It was when they were together on the.
Oh, that was right. Yes, that's right. I remember now. They did the reasonably priced car. Have you ever done a star in a reasonably priced car?
Not to my knowledge, but I've done an awful lot over my career.
Yeah, I was going to say these things you're not going to remember every
single
thing
thing you've done. I remember
will.
a lot of great stuff and lots of it. That's great.
He's only ever been a star in a really expensive car.
Of course, have a bit of style, a bit of style.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. Let's have a quick look at the other one. What was the other one that we removed? Backdraft, was it?
Backdraft, yes.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of fire. I like fire. I eat it sometimes.
Pierce Brosnan, Fire
Yes.
Eater. Brilliant. So those are the 2 that we've watched. So we were left with North Sea Hijack from 1980, Zardos from 1974. All I will say is, if someone hasn't heard of Zardos, just Google it. You have some interesting visual feasts. You're doing it now, are you? Mike is doing it. That's Zardoz. We'll wait for his reaction whilst I read the rest. Horror Express from 1972. Darby O'Gill and the Little People.
Sean Connery, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
There we go. That's the one. Yes.
I've seen him dressed like that before. Is he in that throughout the whole film?
I don't know how often he's in it. I've not seen it. I've not seen the whole thing.
Look. But she's more dressed than he is.
Yeah. And funnily enough, it didn't appeal to me. The Quiet Man, The Ghost Train, The January Man, and Overboard. Those are the films on the list. Actually, speaking of Sean Connery, one I found was quite interesting. He never seemed to ask a lot of money for, and they were shocked by, was Terry Gilliam's Time Bandits. It had Sean Connery in. He played the Greek king.
That he did.
Yeah, the one that fought the Minotaur. Yeah. And they were shocked that he just accepted the role. Wonderful stuff.
That's
right, anyway, let's spin the wheel.
Right, is this yours or mine?
This is yours.
Okay. Horror Express.
You have Horror Express. Right, okay. Let's spin again. For myself, The Ghost Train. So yours is the Horror Express. Yours is from 1972, if you need to know that.
I've just noticed, actually, with Snowpiercer, The Ghost Train, and The Horror Express, you've got a few train-related films going on here.
I do like trains. Of course, I've been in a film.
I assume The Horror Express is train-related.
I've been in a film about a train myself.
You have?
I thought it was Death Train.
What was the film?
Death Train?
I believe with Death Train. I believe with, if memory serves, Patrick Stewart. I could well be wrong.
1993, Death Train.
Hey.
With Patrick Stewart, yes. And Alexandra Paul, Christopher Lee.
You see? Well, I've worked with all the
Horror
greats.
Express as well.
I'm a one-man Kevin Bacon.
That is
Kevin
impressive.
Bacon's best film is River Wild. Like, hands down, I love that film.
Tremors. Tremors is the best film.
Oh,
I
haven't
agree
seen that,
there.
actually.
Tremors is good.
Yeah.
If you've not watched
Oh,
Tremors,
all right,
Yeah.
Edward, all right.
Michael, go home.
Hell. Yeah.
he doesn't want to be one-upped. He's been wetting himself with excitement for this entire
I want to look
podcast.
good for Piers.
Well,
I've just been shaking and mumbling. I'm like, I don't know what to do. You can't. People who are watching this might be able to see that I am visually sweating.
it's quite
And
common with
audibly.
meeting big stars. I was the same with Sean and also with when I met Jack Nicholson as well.
Oh, really? You're a Nicholson fan?
Oh yes, when he came up to see me, he said hello, and I was stirring my coffee, and then he came up to me and said, hi there, Pierce. And I was like, shake the man's hand, but I couldn't. I was
It was like a vibrate rather
yes.
than
I didn't even shake his hand. I sort of nodded at him sort of politely because I was like,
Right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a 5-minute break and we will cut to when we're back and we're knowledged up on these films.
I will try and find some short movie trailers for both Ghost Train and what's yours?
Horror Express.
And Horror Express, and we will we'll intersect that whilst we have a quick research, and then we'll be back with you. See you in a moment.
Yay!
For 2 million years in these subterranean caves, a creature of superhuman evil was entombed in a wall of ice, waiting to be free, waiting to live again. Travel with us on a journey into a world where nightmare becomes reality.
Are you telling me that an ape that lived 2 million years ago got onto that crate, killed the baggage man and put him in there?
Yes, I am. It's alive. It must be.
Travel with us, if you dare, on the Horror Express.
We'll search the train and find it, whatever it is, and destroy it. But if it's alive...
I want this kept quiet.
I don't want to panic the passengers.
The malignant power of this creature is indestructible, transferring its force from mind to mind, from body to body.
Beast is not dead. I put 4 bullets into him.
You think evil can be killed with bullets? Satan lives.
The animal that you shot was only the host. It's alive in someone on this train.
You saw his eyes. One look at them and you're dead.
Anything that moves near that door, kill it!
Run, run for your life. Hide, but you can't escape. No one can stop the fury and the terror of the Horror Express.
Okay.
Okay.
You're like, whatever. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, welcome back. We have had our 5 minutes of research. Pierce has been very patient and been, giving us little tidbits on the way. Tidbits. So,
Toby's anecdotes. Oh yes.
oh yes. So, Pierce, please
Oh,
pick one of us and ask questions.
Michael, if you be so kind, what is your
Okay.
film?
Horror Express, all right. It's based in 1906, and even though released in 1972, it was, the plot goes as follows. It's quite a simple plot. A doctor finds some humanoid remains whilst exploring. He then gets a train back, of course, in 1906. Plane travel wasn't too common back then. So, yeah, you get a train everywhere. And, of course, the humanoid remains are more than it first seemed. Mm-hmm. He did think that it was something to do with human evolution or something like that. But, turns out people were starting to be, possessed and just generally show up dead.
That's never good.
Not a plus point, no. So they basically turn into zombies, effectively, towards the end of the film. The alien, it's all going on in this film, all right? There's a lot of stuff.
Aliens, humanoid zombies?
Yeah, I know, yeah. They... basically... without telling you exactly every scene and murder or in the train, it escalates and grows and swells into this what would like a feat of gore. There's brain matter, there's eye injections, because of course he's a doctor, right? So he's getting up and he's pulling the eye fluid out, and it's all very graphic. 1972, can I remind you?
Yes.
This was a risky move. It was very, very frowned upon. It was very horrific, even for adults at that time to watch. And because of that, even though what is it is considered now a horror gem, and if, by nowadays, you can, it even still holds up, because of course they don't use special effects. It's not like CG. It's not like Gone in 60 Seconds where he jumps the bloody Mustang over and it looks crap even back in the day. This still looks like, pretty horrific stuff. It swells up, and you can tell that the art team are having a field day with this. They are going to town on it. They are putting you in there, and they are making you feel the horror of the Horror Express. And it culminates into the alien, the main being. The main doctor and, of course, his now found female counterpart, they managed to separate the carriage. The carriage that is remained with the alien in plunges into the buffers at the end of the rails. That's how you control or delete an alien.
Excellent.
Yes, but yeah, there you go. 1972, very shock. And you know what? The good thing is that when you take those risks, even in 1972, people still go back to this day to watch that film, because it's not seen like that anymore. And to be honest, it really isn't seen like that anymore. It's a bit of a negative thing, to be honest, nowadays, isn't it? Everything's always CG and just done in post. It's good to go back and see how to do it properly. And guys, if you haven't watched it, please do. It is one of my favourites, and it'll be one of yours too.
So, Tom, going back to doing things properly, Ed, your film's even older, I believe.
Yes, it's 1941, and it gets finer and finer throughout the years. It is one of my all-time favourites. I was shown this at a very young age, and I watch it probably every month, if not every week, sometimes every day. It's got the wonderful Arthur Askey. Well, thank you. And it's originally based upon a stage play a good few years earlier. And it's about Arthur Askey. He plays quite deliberately irritating comedian in it. It starts off, you can tell he's irritating from the very beginning, because he pulls the bloody emergency stop cord because he's lost his hat. And he runs out to get his hat, and he comes back, the conductor starts chasing after him, but he manages to escape by going into one of the what do they call them, the compartments?
Yes.
In the carriage, and he's there, and he's trying to flirt with this woman, but then there's someone else there who realizes he's trying to flirt with this woman. And it gets a bit tense between them. Anyway, they're going to go. They have to get the train at the next stop, but I think they have to stay overnight. So they are in there, and then there's this gentleman that tells them that the conductor from this stop a few years ago, he apparently died whilst trying to stop trying to change the rails on a track, because the tree had obstructed this track and a train was coming. Unfortunately, he died in the process and the train ended up going into the river. And because of that, they believe the train station is haunted. Ooh. And so then there becomes a lot of mystery amongst the members on the station, and there's a lot of tension. There seems to be something not quite, very unusual going on between them, and it's very much character driven by this point. What they do find out at the end, spoilers for a 1941 film, is it's very odd because one of the members of the group, they do get on the train at the end that turns up, and they actually find out that it's a group of Nazi fifth columnists. They are in there. Yes.
They're baddies.
And they are actually smuggling guns. So they end up attempting to stop them. And attempting to stop them in the process, they end up driving the train into the river, almost echoing the ghost story from the very beginning of the film.
Ah.
Very Twilight Zone.
And it's always good when they get rid of Nazis.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Nazis are gone. Brilliant. And guns. Guns have gone as well.
Excellent.
World peace. War never happened. It's very interesting to consider, think about it, because this is very early on. This is 1941 and released in the UK as well. The play itself was originally 1923. And if you do try and search for small clips of it, the full film is everywhere on YouTube. But also you will find clips from amateur production groups trying to either, reenact scenes from the film itself or reenacting from the stage play. There is so many out there. That's how popular the film is, especially amongst amateur dramatics.
So was the play written by a famous person, or
Walter Ford? No, wait there. No, that was the director. Sorry, Arnold Ridley. Sorry, Arnold Ridley. Yeah,
of course. Is he better known as someone else?
I don't really know, actually, because I've never looked into him. I should have done, because, I've never really done much of it. Oh, my God. Okay. I now know who he is.
You watch this film almost every day?
No. This is the person who wrote the stage play. It's not about the person who created the film.
You watch this film almost every day?
Yeah. Why would I care about anything else? Or even the person who wrote the play or anything else that they've done. But no, he was an actor later on in life, and he played Private Godfrey in Dad's Army.
Small world.
How about that?
So, Michael, any surprising celebrities in your film?
You have two powerhouses for lead roles that really... I don't think if they had names this big in 1972, this film would have probably been slated somewhat. It's one of those sort of deals. Christopher Lee is the lead role. If Christopher Lee isn't the actor, I don't know who is. Sorry, Pierce.
Arthur Askey.
And then you're backing that up with Peter Cushing as well. Two people. There was actually someone else called Bernard Gordon who was going to play the role that Cushing played, but whilst filming, he had recently lost his wife. And whilst filming, it was just as you could imagine, all that horrific stuff going. No, this isn't for me, and thus Cushing took over.
It's understandable.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't know why they got to filming. Surely the screenplay would have probably, been enough for you to go, maybe not the one for me.
Title, perhaps, It's a death train. What's it? It's about a train with death in it. Not imagine a Horror Express, Ghost Train, got ghosts in it.
Yeah, I maybe didn't know the actual extent of the art team would go through to try and recreate those horrific deaths. But yes, those are the two main powerhouses. There are many other names on there. To be honest, because the train is... it's filmed in Madrid and set there as well. There's a lot of names. I'm just going to say one random. Angel de Pozo. I'm sure he's a lovely man.
I believe there's a TV detective and bigger star that you've not mentioned, an American star.
Oh no!
Because often you want to have American stars.
American. Alberto de Mendoza.
No.
Is that who you're talking about?
But
George Rick.
I said, like, if I said to Ed, "Who loves you, baby?" would Ed get the catchphrase?
Yeah.
You see, big
Everyone
star.
knows.
Everyone
Mike,
knows that.
Mike,
Mark's a youngling.
Hang on.
Who loves you, baby?
You know it now?
It's Belly Savalas.
Yes, of course.
But Telly, there he is. Yeah, Telly Savalas.
All the stars.
Yeah, quite far down. Plays Captain Kazan in this. I don't remember that character.
He's the commander of the Cossacks.
I'm sure he is.
And his special weapons.
I'm sure he is. You know he is. It's your favourite film.
You love it,
because I'm
Michael.
concentrating on Christopher Lee all the time.
It's easily done because you've had 2 Christopher Lee films this evening.
I know. I've been a very lucky boy.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, there you go. There's my celebrities. Yeah, Telly Savalas. How did I forget? But yeah. No, that's pretty much it. Music is by John Kakavaz, who is...
Say that again.
What? No, I don't want to. No.
Is there any music in the Ghost Train, Ed? Any good songs? Or
It's not really musically oriented, no. It was more based on, as I say, it was more based on a stage play. It's very, very much like single, very, very closed scenes. So you've got your carriage, you've got your station, you've got your train line, and that's about it. I mean, there's lots of stuff that happens like off scene. Like you have a mysterious, you have the mysterious woman that turns up screaming, saying that someone's trying to chase her. Then there's a car crash that you hear off scene, and you get the whole effect of the ghost train, which kind of zooms past the line, which they try to shoot. They're trying to shoot a ghost apparently. You got to remember this is also a comedy. This isn't just a mystery. This is a comedy mystery. It's probably like a very early like black comedy. It's not like it's not slapstick or anything like that. Even though you have one character, Arthur Askin, who's trying to do the slapstick, but they make the slapstick effect more of like he's an irritating character because that's what he does.
Yes.
So it's a very. I can see why throughout stage plays why it's very common for amateur dramatics to love it, because it's kind of like, it's why a lot of musicians love the Beatles, because it's a defining, the defining in music history, just as I believe that this is defining in drama, and why I think it's been adapted a few times to film as well. This I believe is the definitive version, but yeah, it's not really musical effect. I mean, yes, they do have incidental music in the background. But that's not the main part of it at all. No.
So that's it now, Michael.
I must say that Horror Express, even though it has music by our beloved John Kakavaz, he, even though it's not a musical or anything, it's not a Grease contender, but he did also compose the music for Kojak. So that's always good to know.
That's your Telly Savalas link.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. Of course, and Telly, of course, went on to advertise which English city?
Oh, thank God Ed stuck too.
No, I can't remember.
It was Birmingham.
I was going to look at my mind.
You think Telly Savalas? You think Birmingham?
Yeah. Everyone loves Birmingham.
There we go. Okay, one more question each, I think, Mr. Pierce Brosnan.
So, let's think now.
Anything.
Michael, do you think that Horror Express could be remade today?
No, because it would literally be done with CGI, as we said before.
Yeah.
And if they were to remake all those latex sets and things, like props. They would probably deem it far too expensive, because I believe now the people that make those sort of things charge an absolute bomb, because they know that it's a bit of a niche now. Of course, you get the people who do cuts and things like that on your heads, but with regards to full sculptures, and they even went through. In this particular film, Horror Express, they went through such intricacies as to make sure that when he stabbed the eye with the needle, that it reacted like an eye.
Wow.
To make sure that it didn't, because if you just use a bit of, bubble gum or something in there, and then it would, it wouldn't have the same effect. So it really is a really fine art form. And I don't think you would be able to get away with that today. I would love to think that they would. Even if it wasn't Horror Express remade, if there was a completely different horror film and they went, look, guys, we're going to do this properly, and we're going to use latex, we're going to use animatronics. Look back at Jurassic Park, another great film that still holds up today, because largely it's animatronics.
Because Tarantino is a big fan of practical effects.
Yes, of course. And of course, Brosnan, you know what it's like on a James Bond set. If it's not practical, it doesn't really fly that much.
No, exactly. It just doesn't work. It works so well. So Ed, as it's a film based on a stage play with classic musical acts, if you were going to remake it today, how would you do it?
With classic musical acts?
Classic music hall act, like Arthur Aske's or
music hall acts.
Yeah.
You thought you got it really wrong for a moment.
Back in the time, there was a film a little while before it. There was a release based on it, and then there was this one. And this one is the definitive version. You have had different versions released, like throughout the 30s and the 50s. The most recent mainstream version was actually a radio production, Radio 4, broadcast it in 1998. It was re-released a few times through the early 2000s on, do you remember Radio 7? Not sure if that still exists anymore, but it was. And apart from that, it's not been done. I wouldn't expect it to be done again on TV. I'm sure people might want to go and see stage plays, because that's what people do. My local theatre down the road, they're always trying to find different things to do, and they've probably done this a few times, knowing them. But this one in particular, I can't see them making a film on it. I will be honest. It's probably not something I could imagine a movie production company making a lot of money off. Back then, they weren't expecting massive explosions, huge budgets and such. This really fits the era well. I can imagine, say, BBC 4 maybe making a production on it, maybe more, but that would be more akin to a stage play itself. Rather than the way this is done. I don't think it would work for films in this day. It just doesn't need to be changed. Just go watch this version.
Thank you for that. My consideration, although big fan of Askey and a big fan of fighting the Nazis, I've got to say that Horror Express, though, I think takes this one. You've got the big stars, the small stars. You've got John doing the music. So I think...
Now, before you make your final decision, Pierce, remember that you're unbiased. You haven't seen these films before.
No, that's what I'm saying. And Michael has sold it to me best.
Woo!
Because John... that is a name to conjure with.
It is a name to conjure with.
No disrespect to Arthur Askey.
007.
Of course, Arthur Askey's last film was, of course, Rosie Dixon Night Nurse.
Of course, everyone knows that.
Yeah, famous for it.
Well, it's good to know that you're a cinephile at heart as well, Mr. Brosnan.
It's important. It's important to watch films when you're relaxing after a hard day on set.
Yeah, right, yeah. Okay, right. I mean, Pierce, it's been amazing having you. Let's not end too quickly. I say... Have you got anything on your nearabouts you there? Something random that you can put in your pocket, and then Ed and I can try and guess what's in.
We can certainly
Brosnan's
try.
Pocket. See what you've got. Something random.
I've got something in my hand.
That'll do. Don't try and get
reveal.
it in your leather pocket. Okay, Ed, seeing as you're on the back foot here, you have first guess.
Okay, what's
My
in
Lord of the
Pierce's?
Rings.
What's in Brosnan's fist? Is it plastic?
Yes.
Okay.
Does it go on something?
On something? No.
So it goes in something.
Yeah.
Is it a memory stick?
No.
Okay, so it goes in something and it's on his desk. Is it to eliminate sound?
No.
Oh, okay.
Is it solely plastic?
Yes.
Is it a toy?
Yes.
Jesus. What toy would Pierce Brosnan have on his desk?
Oh, the same as everybody else, I'm sure.
It's a toy that goes in something completely made of plastic. Is it a micro machine?
It is not a micro machine.
Is it an interlocking brick?
It is not an interlocking brick.
Oh, okay. In.
Is it of humanoid nature?
It is not of humanoid nature.
Bugger. In something. Is it spherical?
It is not spherical.
Just wanted to hear Pierce say spherical.
Spherical.
Is it not spherical? Is it military based?
What do you mean by military base?
A little gun to go with an action figure, or a little army man, or something that came with an army play set, or
I think that I'm going to say yes. You're on the right lines there. It's that sort of thing.
Is it like a little plastic missile that you would load into a gun?
It is not a little plastic missile that loads into a gun.
is it weaponry of some sort?
It is weaponry of some sort. Yes, Michael.
Right.
Is it a projectile?
It is not a projectile. Ed.
Right.
Is it an M16 with suppressor, torch, and laser attachments?
It is not that.
Is it that without those attachments?
Oh, it's not. It will go.
Oh.
But it goes in something.
Mm-hmm.
So
For example, it could go into something like a hand.
Oh, you sod! Is it a little army rifle?
It's not a little. It is not projectile based. It's not an army rifle.
Okay.
Sword.
I think I'm going to give you that.
Damn it!
It's a little. It's one of these things.
Nice.
Which goes
it's a sai.
It's a
Is it a
sai.
sai?
It's a
Yes.
stabby sai. Goes with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Heroes in a half shell.
It's Raphael, I believe, isn't it? It's Raphael's sai. Am I correct?
Maybe.
I cannot remember, but I had it with the toy, and then the toy was sent away, was given away, but that was left behind.
It is indeed Raphael.
Yes,
Bless him.
Raphael. Well,
He's
how
cool,
about that?
but crude.
So does that mean? Oh, sorry, a crude? What's that?
He's cool, but crude.
Cool but crude. Yes. So you're a Turtles fan, are you, Pierce?
Of course, everyone loves the Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Of course, as a actor, also I like to get involved, in more sort of superhero type things. Of course, that's my next role. Is of course I'm going to be in a superhero film. With
Oh, please give a shout out. What is it?
yeah, it's I believe it's called Black Adam.
Black
I've been
Adam.
working with Dwayne Johnson, aka formerly known as The Rock. I'll be playing Dr. Fate. So very much
I am looking forward to that.
Oh,
And on a slight contrast, this in July, slight contrast, you're going to be portraying the king in the live action Cinderella as well.
Oh yes, I'm looking for that. Of course, I am regal. I've reached the age now where I'm not just so much the Prince Charming, but I'm now just the king.
Yeah,
Nice. Okay.
Rightly so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you
Right.
very much, Pierce. Thank you very much for your time. I do know that we've run over. I've noticed that.
It's been a pleasure, an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Pierce, for joining us.
I would also like to do a shout out. I didn't mention this to Mike because he was so overly eager on the fact that a tweet that he tweeted got your attention. But
right.
I have found out it is not just that. A friend of ours, James O'Grady, also known to many people as Watto Snorkers. I can't remember his relative, but his who knows you personally, and he contacted I can't remember his relative now, but they contacted you, and that's the other reason you jumped on it.
I was always happy to help a relative.
Yeah, there we go. So thank you very much to which relative was it again? I can't remember.
Oh, I think it's a distant cousin.
Distant cousin.
Yeah,
it always works like that, doesn't it?
Always works. Yeah,
Was
it's a very small world once you get into the showbiz industry. So.
It was Barry, wasn't it? Barry Brosnan.
Yes.
Was it Barry?
Not to be confused with Barry from EastEnders.
No. I mean, it's a common
Which Barry
misconception.
from EastEnders are we talking? Were you talking EastEnders 1988 Barry? Was it Colin and Barry?
Yeah, or Barry Island.
Oh yeah. There we go.
Good stuff. Well, EastEnders fan as well, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure, you've got to subscribe to James O'Grady's YouTube channel on account of Pierce Brosnan wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for that. Also on Twitter as well. You can find him there as JamoGrad. And Pierce, thanks very much for joining us today.
No problem.
Don't forget as well, everyone, on my left is Ed the Penguin. Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Go find him. With regards to us, of course, we are the Pocket Knockers. And you can find us at YouTube. You can go to pocketknockers.co.uk and find us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, probably more. Just have a look. See what you
find us on the internet.
Find.
All right, you'll find us on the internet.
You already found us here. And
I'm
thank you
sure
for listening
Boris
all the way
Kashenko
through.
will find you.
Yeah. And Liam Neeson.
Oh, he finds it.
Yeah, he does have a certain set of skills. Right. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.